I have a new title this week. I am now known as the UK Regional Comp Manager. I have happy days. For those that can't remember, I'm a massive BR kind of guy. So Battle Royales, your Apex, your Fortnite. Currently grinding Warzone on the one and only God console, which is PS4. You're welcome, Zubair.
Tell me a little bit about, I don't think we've ever discussed your personal life. Are you married? Do you have kids? Is there any jobs that you're doing? Well, we discussed a little about your history about the name. Yeah. But, or is it a sensitive topic? Is it a gamer topic that we can't talk about it?
I mean, we definitely talk about it. It's a scary thought having kids. But no, I'm 26 years young, although I don't feel like it. I am recently engaged back in January to my partner of 2 years. I know, thank you. We met together at an outdoor activity centre that we both worked at. We decided back in October to get back to our normal lifestyle because working 7 days a week isn't fun. So we moved back to my hometown, which is lovely Gretna Green. We started renting a house together back in February. We moved in then, and we've got 2 little small dogs. One's a jack shit, which is always fun to say, and one is a chorky, and they're probably just as bad or as equal to kids.
Okay, so
she brings beers on the stream. She's an absolute legend. Shout out to Mrs.
He's a Scotsman. He has to have beer when it's either brew or beer. He has to be doing something or the other, drinking one or the other.
Sure. So as you said, I'm the video development manager. Recently changed that name, so it got me there.
Having difficulty saying the name.
I edit. Mainly work with the YouTube side of things, though. Been dabbling into social media as well. Joined the Wolves back in November time. So been here a while. And same as you two, PS4 is king. And the
power to Sony, homies. Power to Sony. Yeah.
Spyro's the one for me though. That's my favorite game.
Oh, you were so close. You were so close.
I know I knew it'd be controversial because the last episode it was Crash versus Spyro.
It was Crash versus Spyro. Well, at least you won't be alone on this cast. We'll leave you alone. You poor. Oh, we got to call the mental doctor.
Hi there. I'm a content creator for the Wicked Wolves. I've just started like a month ago, fairly new, but I'm working hard and I play a lot of like RPG games, horror games. That's my sort of area.
Awesome. Cool. So what's your favorite horror game to play just now?
Ooh, I'm playing Outlast at the moment and I'm really enjoying that. I'm really enjoying it.
Ooh, scary.
I've heard a lot about Outlast. I got to try the game. Is it on PlayStation, guys?
It is indeed, yeah.
Awesome.
That's in fact where I play it.
Another PlayStation.
Oh my God.
Xbox people are signing off right now. We don't want to watch this, guys. So, but do you game on the PC as well, or is it just purely PlayStation?
I do indeed. I do pretty much both. I've got them both right down here, actually.
Yeah. You know how I figured that out? The nature of your flipping headphones. Because your hair's so big, we can't see the cat ears. No way would an honest-to-God PlayStation dedicated person put cat ears on their head. Come on. No, move your headphone forward. Everyone has to see the cat ears. Come on. Don't be shy. You bought them for a reason. What's the point of having cat ears if you're going to hide behind the fro? What's the matter with you?
Hey, they offered them and I got them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they offered them for $59.99 and I got them for $59.99. Outside of gaming, do you have a life? It's very rare for gamers to have a life outside of games, but go ahead.
I do a lot of interesting things, like I cosplay in my spare time and go to conventions and all that. Yeah.
Whoa. Cosplay.
Yeah.
I mean, I got the vibes.
He's got the ears, right? I mean, what do you cosplay as? Don't tell me like an anime girl. I mean, because then we're gonna have a problem. You do.
Naruto.
Who's that?
Naruto.
Ah.
Oh, Naruto. Okay, then we can forgive you. Naruto is acceptable. Yes.
Hello. How's it going?
Not too bad, sir. How's life this morning?
Life is really good. It's sunny. It's warm. And PS4 is God.
Yeah.
PS4.
When you asked me if I had anything, I do have a hammer. It's just a big stick here, but it looks like a big club, but it's a hammer, right? To put to smack the.
Right. You just found a rock. You tied it to a stone, a stick, and then there you go. Ooh, hammer. Is that how you found your partner? You just found her wandering in the forest one day. Boom, you're mine. Ooh.
Yeah.
Bearded like an awkward look to the side and go, ha.
She's there with the hammer. Just
The topic that we will be talking about is video games that were turned into movies. I did extensive research on the topic, but before I kick off, firstly, we're going to do a round, and I'm going to pass the mic around so that other people can have their opinion.
The idea, like we were talking about movies and all that last week, and for those that can remember, I'm obviously like a massive Marvel fan, right? And I know we're going back a bit, but we were talking about the new Marvel game that's supposed to be coming out. So this idea of watching these movies and get your own kind of concept behind them is a fantastic idea. But then to be playing the video games, I always remember the first kind of movie to game I ever played was the Lord of the Rings franchise, Lord of the Rings 2 Towers. Loved it. Played, didn't matter how many times I completed it, I kept on going back, and it was brilliant because it was one of those games that stuck exactly to the movie. There was no like extra side mission that wasn't in the movie. It was you played every chapter of every part of the movie. And I loved that. And I loved going back through it. And then it got me in the mood to watch the movie again and go back through it. So any sort of good movie, I have to point out there, good movie that gets made into a great video game, I'm all over it.
One example I was thinking of, we mentioned just before the show started, I mentioned Men in Black. Now, Men in Black was a video game made on PlayStation 1. It was atrocious. They tried to make up their whole new story, which I never got through because the gameplay was atrocious. It was so bad. It was embarrassing. But yes, almost any Lord of the Rings video game that is made from the movie, right? Because it's not even the book, because it's made from the movie now. Yeah, the movie has pioneered it. For the new century, the movie's pioneered it, right? So for a new generation. So the fact that the video games keep us engaged and the video game was so good that you couldn't help it, you had to go back and watch the movie again. That's just a mark of an awesome video game, right?
There's a way to do it correctly, like we're saying. I think back the original Tomb Raider films. They weren't the best, but they knew that they weren't the best, so they upped the cheese of it. They just wanted to be cheesy with the action, with the music, and it made it amazing. Because it was just like, we know that we're not making an incredible, action adventure, whatever, but we're making a badass film about a badass girl. So go for it. And with the latest reboot, I feel like that's in the chain of making the video game genre come back. Because watching the reboot movie of the reboot game, it was incredible. Like there was scenes from the game in the film that was incredible, and it took you back to that. Well, it took me back to when the first time I played it, and it was just like, I remember that was an insane scene. But there's still ways to go, because particularly I didn't like the script of that film because it was just bad. But they're getting somewhere. They just need to tighten up and fix other bits to fully revive it. Which is insane.
No creepy waiter following you around.
No.
No, they
left that out.
Okay. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Just 7 hours of that would have been pure entertainment. Locking him in the fridge, remember?
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone did that.
Yeah.
Probably would have an issue with health and safety if they did that, but
it's a video. You have to make sacrifices for movies. I love the Angelina Jolie versions. Yes. The second one in particular, Creative Life, more than I like the 2018 reboot. Because I get what they were doing in the 2018 reboot. It was just missing something. And just like you said, they made it pure cheese. Right? And it's funny you should make it, because they interviewed AJ back then for the first movie. And she said the shorts that they did for the first one, right? She hated them. She could not move in them. They were just so annoying, but you had to do them for the movie. She says, she had to make the sacrifice for the movie. She had to wear something uncomfortable. Oh, the travesty. But yeah, she did that. And then the second one came along, and the second one I loved because there was a brilliant twist at the end with the Scottish actor, whose name I have forgotten. Gerard Butler, right? I think it was Gerard.
Jerry Butler.
Thank you. Right. Yeah, Jerry Butler, right? So, yeah, I know I was halfway there. So the little twist at the end there, and I loved it. The action, just like you said, it was cheesy. And it was perfect amount of cheese. But if you release it today, I don't know what is with people nowadays. They don't like that type of cheese for some reason. I still loved it because we knew it. Like you nailed it on the head, Amy. It was supposed to be cheesy, and they knew it. I would like to say that Scott Farrar has said, Viking, why didn't you name your kids Loki, Thor, and Hela? Would have been perfect. He's absolutely right. Such a shame.
As far as they know, that maybe I did.
This is a fair point. We don't know their names. Awesome. All right, so we're passing the mic back to. We'll leave that a mystery. Ashen, back to you. Cat ears, please. Your opinion.
Honestly, I kind of agree with the whole because back in the day, in the old 2000s movies, they were so cheesy but so good. I love the old Tomb Raiders to death. I just think it was really cool the way they did it, but the new ones are so much more accurate. I noticed they are they have the specifics of the games in them. The old Resident Evil, I don't know whether people like that or not, but I do, because it does have bits from the games in the film, like the running away from the helicopter as it's coming down the thing in the second one where she's running. You actually get to do that in the game, just not as Alice. And I thought that was kind of rad that they put little bits in back in the olden days, but it's not as accurate, but it's great. I think it's great.
I also quite like when video games go to movies, but they do a continuation of the video game. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Final Fantasy Advent Children.
Yes. Brilliant. Yes. Which
was an amazing movie, but if you didn't play Final Fantasy VII, you could not follow the story at all, right?
Yeah, no clue. Yeah,
which was a downfall for that movie, but I mean, just the continuation, it was just brilliant. I loved it, absolutely loved it. And Tomb Raider was another one, and I think you'd hit the nail on the head. It was just the right amount of cheese. It was good, and back in the day for me is 90s, but.
Both of us with our white hair and our beard, yeah, we understand.
Yeah, and I was saying earlier, I was there for the beginning of those. I think the first ever video game to movie was Super Mario Brothers, and I remember, I think that was
1993.
93. Yeah.
And, I remember watching it when it came out.
I know, right? I mean, I didn't get to watch it in the cinema. I watched it on VHS back then. VHS was the big thing then.
Yeah, VHS is a big cassette.
For the younger generation.
Yeah.
Before we continue, Danny Caswaller says that you had to blow it to make it work. I was wondering what he was talking about, and then I realized he was talking about the video cassette. Thank goodness for that, because this is a family-friendly show. But you are thinking of the Sega Mega and the N64 drives. I couldn't blow into mine and work because,
it says right on the cassette, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's don't do that. And we're like, just spitting in it.
Yeah. Spitting in it, making it worse, destroying the magnetic tape inside. And I went to check out the Super Mario Bros. Thing. And it seems like right now, nobody likes it. And obviously nobody likes it because they went around in the 90s, right? In the 90s, they made it this sort of it wasn't the fantasy land that you have in the video games and they've made now. From N64 onwards, when they made it 3D, it was a proper fantasy land. Back then, it was just 8-bit pixels or 24-bit pixels. That was it, right? Not even 24-bit, sorry. 8-bit. And it was just this little thing dancing around. So they had to make a movie, and they made a movie which was perfect for the time, which was about when a lot of these movies were being made, right? Like the movie, what was it? Feed Me, Seymour? House of Horrors? I think it was. Not House of Horrors.
Little House of Horrors.
Little House of Horrors, that was made in an urban environment. You had a Michael Jackson movie that was made in an urban environment, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So many of them, even Batman, even though that wasn't necessarily aimed for kids. So they had to make the Super Mario in an urban environment. It was perfect for its time. Amy's hit the nail on the head on another point that we were going to talk about. The Tomb Raider movies, the initial ones with AJ, they were perfect for their time. So when you look back at them, you're going to think, what the hell are we thinking, right? But they were adaptations for their time. They weren't timeless pieces. And I think this is a thing I hear when it comes to turning a video game into an adaptation for a movie, you're not necessarily going to get a timeless piece. You're just going to get a movie. This is fun to watch, awesome to watch at the time. And then it's a memory. That's about it. And it's
exceptions, I think.
There are some exceptions? Go on.
I think Mortal Kombat is a great example of a timeless film.
Jericho Pring just mentioned that in the Facebook chat. Absolutely. So Mortal Kombat. Why do you think that?
Just at the time they came out, I think it was 95.
95, yeah.
They didn't have like super big actors. They had some big actors, and it was just
Christopher Lambert was the only guy they had, right? He plays the electric dude. I forgot his name. That was it. They only had Raiden. Christopher Lambert. Raiden, thank you.
Yeah.
That's all they had. No one else was. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and it wasn't like outrageous, like silly fighting either. It was like it was martial arts for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to get a lot of hate in the chat just now, right? I always say wasn't old enough. No, I was too young to watch it when it came out in 1995. I then got into Mortal Kombat without any of the movies playing the game, right? Mm-hmm. And then I found out when I was about 10, 11, it was like, oh, there's movies for Mortal Kombat. I then watched the movies, hated the movies, and I never went back to Mortal Kombat. Even with all the new up-to-date ones in 2019, I never went back because the movie put such an impression on me. I couldn't go back to Mortal. And I'm sorry, chat. I am sorry.
Shame. For shame.
I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for bringing this man as the co-host. I am so sorry.
I just had to get
I did not realize he had this opinion.
See, I had similar, not with Mortal Kombat, but with did anyone watch the Tekken film?
Oh, for God's sake. Oh, my God. I'm a Tekken man. I tell everybody. And I was so embarrassed watching the movie.
Yeah. Me and my brother, that's all we'd play. That we were obsessed with that game. And then I don't know how he found it, but he found that there was a film. So we're like, oh my God, yes, this will be awesome.
But it didn't put you off Tekken, did it?
Oh, no.
No, thank God for that.
Thankfully not.
Thankfully not, yeah.
Yeah, there was a few bad fighting movies. Tekken was one of them. Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yeah.
Oh, see, this is where I will disagree. I found it funny. I found it really cheesy with the Van Damme one. It was just like...
It was cheesy, but it wasn't...
It was too cheesy for you? You don't like your pizza that cheesy?
There's got to be
there's got to be like entertainment cheesy. It can only be so cheesy. But the animated version of the Street Fighter, that was
animated undoubtedly because they're made by this almost a similar studio, right? The anime manga type of thing. Manga did Street Fighter. The one that I would love the best was Street Fighter Alpha 2 animated. I remember the name because I watched it like 10 times. Bloody amazing. And you know why I like the movie more? Here's the thing as well, where opinions differ is your relationship with movies and your relationship with video games. I didn't play as much Street Fighter because on PlayStation there wasn't Street Fighter, right? At the time. And what do you call it? I liked Van Damme at the time. I was a big fan. I was more a movie fan than I was a video game fan, and I think I'm the same today. So I was enjoying Van Damme kicking ass. So that's what I liked about it. So that's definitely me. I liked, and I think it's the memory attached to it that I watched it with my family, and we were just having a laugh and making fun of it. So I think that's one thing as well.
I've got the same thing with you there, Zubair. Like I remember playing Doom, and we were playing. I think that was like the first person shooter I played.
Oh, wow!
It was the first time I got terrified playing a game as well because anytime you went on one of those corners, there was something there. And then I think it was 2005. No, 2005. Possibly.
Are you talking about the one with Dwayne Johnson in it, right?
Johnston, and I was a massive wrestling fan growing up and all. So I had all three things coming to me. I was like, this is brilliant. Watched the Doom movie, and I loved it. It was fantastic. But the thing that topped it off was this was obviously a movie. Everything was getting filmed with camera angles and different shots. But then he took the part where he was trying to escape, and the camera shifted round to his first-person view. And it was,
I remember that.
And I loved it. And he was going on the corners, and it was the gore and the smashing and the guns going off. Like that 30 seconds of the movie is my favorite part of the movie because it brought me back to the adaptation of the game. And that'll stick me for forever. It'll never put me off Doom because that was just blowing.
Yeah. Honestly, Resident Evil's a biggie for me. Like, I grew up playing horror games. I was kind of through in the deep end because I had a really goth mother, and who was also a gamer.
Awesome.
Yes.
Like,
that's the dream mom. Your mom's awesome. Go ahead. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, literally, she just threw these games at me and was like, I've played these. I've done this. This is what you should do. Here you go.
She's northern, is she?
She was pretty mad. And still is today. So, yeah, Resident Evil and Silent Hill, like, Bearded Viking brought up is like my jam. And I
Your
think
jam.
like the Silent Hill movie was really good, like really, really good. I thought that, but
The first one or the second one?
both. I liked both because it was
like
different
both?
stories from different games, and I've been playing the game since the very first one. So
Very first one, yeah.
yeah,
That must your heart must have broken when they found out that they're not making the Silent Hill game with Hideo Kojima, right?
no, I did. I actually had that downloaded on my PlayStation and didn't delete it until it got removed. Like I've played it on my Twitch as well. Like I love that game.
Are you talking about the demo?
Yeah, I played it to death. I wanted it to be a real game.
They're making a reboot of the Resident Evil movies.
Yeah,
And they were planning to release it later. You know, this are awesome. I think they were going to plan to release it later this year, but obviously because of all this that's happening, that probably ain't going to happen. And it's going to be more a horror movie than it is the action movies that they made. And
I think what I heard is they're making a series as well.
Ooh, risky. I mean, there's a lot of content to make a series too, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because I think I've played all the main numbers, Resi 1, 2, 3. I've played 4, 5, and 6. There are video games in between as well. And now, and I played 7 as well, and they've stopped now. Now they're doing reboots, which tells you something. They're running out of ideas. You know, this takes me back to what I was saying last week with they're too busy making video games pretty that they screw up the stories. Mm-hmm. And I think they've just run out of ideas. Capcom have run out of ideas for the story for Resident Evil, so they're going back to the originals and just remaking them. Yeah, I can't be bothered to think of something. Let's just remake them. So that'll be interesting to see with the TV series. Sorry, Amy.
No, just with your point there, like they're focusing too much on making video games beautiful. I feel like that's what they're doing with films, and why they're not willing to try and make things like the cheesy action films that we were talking about. Because if you think about it, like say again, Tomb Raider, if the Angelina Jolie film was released now, everybody would look at that and think this is poor production quality. Like what is happening? Yeah,
everyone now thinks that they're a professional critic. They just don't want to enjoy the movie, right? Or not enjoy it. Okay, you don't like it, fine, off your sod, right?
Yeah. So they're not. It is that thing because we've advanced so much with CGI and just like everything's improved and it's great, but no one's willing to be like let's just have fun with this. But I think it'll take a lot of courage for someone to be like, you know what, I'm gonna make another pretty cheesy video game film. Have at it.
Well, I don't know whether you know about the Sonic movie, but I feel like that incorporates all of the themes. It's probably one of the best game movies I've ever seen.
I think that one is reviving the video game genre because watching that, holy hell, it was amazing. Like it worked perfectly because it's Sonic. There was cheese in it, and they got away with it because it's a kid's film. I was at first I was really worried with
I think we all were.
Yeah. But I was wondering how Jim Carrey was going to be. I don't doubt his acting abilities, but I was worried about, is he going to be funny in a kid way or just his way? And he just did it all his way, and it was phenomenal.
Perfect.
So
he was perfect. You're absolutely perfect for the movie. And my funny experience with Sonic the Hedgehog is I went to the cinema to watch it. I don't care. I don't have any kids. By myself, I went to the cinema and I sat in the VIP row in View Cinema, all full of adults. And there's like 20 adults watching the movie and 2 kids at the back. And I said, hey, do you realize none of us are kids here? We're watching the Sonic. And they're just like, hey, holding up their drinks. Because we wanted to see Sonic and Jim Carrey.
When we went, there were so many people with just Sonic t-shirts. Just like, we're here.
Sick.
Like, it was incredible.
Now, there's a movie called Ghost in the Shell, right? An adaptation from the anime, right? I'm actually going to go on to another video game as well about that. But the adaptation, I thought that was a good adaptation, right? I don't know if you guys seen it. And I saw the original anime movie. And there's Mr. Anime there, chuckling away.
We need his
opinion. You've cosplayed Ghost in the Shell, haven't you, mate? That's why you're laughing your ass off.
I haven't, but I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it.
I was going to say it'd be amazing. Here's me as the ghost. Oh, man. But yeah, Ghost in the Shell, I thought it was an amazing movie because it's risky changing a manga cartoon into a movie. And they picked the perfect girl. They picked Scarlett Johansson. But there was backlash for the movie. People didn't go to the movie because they didn't cast a Japanese actor for Scarlett Johansson's role. Even though people in Japan were saying, she looks like an anime girl. She's got the big eyes. She's got the big lips. She looks like an anime girl. It's perfect. The Japanese were saying this. But then some people were getting self-righteous and saying, no, they didn't cast a Japanese person for the role. You weren't supposed to. If you knew the story, It was supposed to be a European model. It was perfect for the show, but people didn't know this. And Jericho Prince says he loves the Naruto poster in the back.
Hell yeah.
So if you'd like to pose with it and just, take a sexy picture with it or something like that. Not like sexy, provocative. Wrong word. Never mind. Back to the topic at hand. Videos.
Take a video.
Take a video. Please don't. We don't know where that's going to go.
Right. There's two movies I've got in mind that I think personally nailed it 100%. And the first movie, and I believe it's one of the highest made money videos from a game, and it was
very good English there. Well done.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Scottish. Can't help it.
You make that big pop movie, yeah.
Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shit. Yeah,
that nailed it. And it had was it Jake
Gyllenhaal.
Tremendous actor and whatever he does, but that film was mad, and I liked Prince of Persia the game.
I think it was perfect. Yeah.
And I loved the game. I went back and played it again. Like this is what I keep saying about the ideas of the movies that it makes you want to go back and relive these games. So you're kind of in this own little world of your own. And I've seen it in loads of the Facebook comments already. Assassin's Creed movie. Why there hasn't been another Assassin's Creed movie made, I don't know. But that movie was brilliant, and yet again makes me want to go back and play all the Assassin's Creeds. Bearded Viking smiling down there as well. He's loving that.
He's rolling his eyes. And
I know there's this talk next year about like a Minecraft the movie coming out, a Call of Duty.
No.
Yeah, I've got a list.
Really?
I will get you the list.
You were telling me you had a list. Yeah, go ahead.
I've got a list. So, yet again, 2020 could be hit or miss with everything that's going on, but they're supposed to be bringing out a Monster Hunter, and that's supposed to be Capcom helping out with that.
And who's the lead actress in Monster Hunter?
The one from
it's Mila Jovovich from Resident Evil.
Yes, so it is.
She's going to be the lead.
Yeah.
It's
already done, by the way.
Oh, is it already done?
Yeah.
They're going to release. It's going to be released. It was supposed to be released later at the end of this year again, but God knows what will happen, right?
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what they do because I love Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
I think this is the thing though. But Monster Hunter doesn't really have that much of a story. It's more like a multiplayer universe kind of thing. So to make a story, it's kind of like Super Mario Brothers. It's going to be risky. So let's see what they do.
Well, for the most part, I mean, Monster Hunter, they're like researchers and they protect their.
Yeah, there's a concept. There's a concept around the game.
Yeah, there's not much lore. As far as the game goes, so I mean, it was probably the perfect choice for a video game.
The thing with the video game is it's a very mythical and magical sort of thing. I'm worried that Hollywood being Hollywood, they might turn it gritty and we're going to be like, what? But let's see what happens. And Prince of Persia, same thing happened. I love the movie, but majority of people for some reason said no, they didn't like it, and that's why I didn't get a sequel again.
But it was gaming fans that never liked it. If there's a review somewhere online and it's people who are non-gamers that watched the movie and they loved it because they hadn't had anything to go off, and that's the horrible thing that we're involved in as gamers. We have such a high expectation when one of these things comes out that we're expecting it in our own. It could be completely different. Like Amy could have something different to me. I could think something different to Bearded Viking. Everybody's got their own kind of view on a game, and that's what makes the gaming community a wonderful, beautiful thing. When it comes to the movie side of things, everybody's got their own views, but I think that's why gaming movies do struggle majority of the time.
There's an interesting, if you make adaptations of really old video games, such as, for example, 2018, we had Rampage with Dwayne Johnson again, right? Now, the cumulative box office of Resident Evil was 1.2 billion, right? Cumulative. One Rampage was 500 million, right? And why? Because it was awesome. It was cheesy. Had the CGI in it. I mean, did you guys like Rampage? Did you guys have a problem with Rampage? Do you know anybody who did?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, Viking! Get out of here!
I didn't watch it.
Say that again, Viking. Oh, the shame.
I will not take lip from someone who liked Assassin's Creed, all right?
But there's one video game that really got me thinking, adaptation, about why it doesn't work. And that was Max Payne. And Mark Wahlberg played Max Payne. Did any of you guys see the movie Max Payne?
Mark Wahlberg was that.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg
was probably the perfect choice for Max Payne.
It was perfect for Max Payne, but the movie wasn't that good, I don't think.
No.
Objectively, my mom watching, she kind of like, it's okay, right? And I get it. They tried to do the whole bullet time thing where he jumps behind him and shoots the guy in the back with a shotgun. Because the problem is, right, the people who are in Hollywood, they're not necessarily gamers.
Yeah.
Right? So, and the people who are gaming, they're not having a strong affiliation with Hollywood. There is that disconnect in between. And I think that's the problem that we had. We got away with it in the 90s. We got away with it with the early noughties, right? But then because video games are getting more and more cinematic, I'm just thinking about Nathan Drake, why we like Nathan Drake in Uncharted again, because the scripting is so movie-esque. It's so casual, you know?
Yeah.
The voice acting is perfect. It's not like Solid Snake talking to the villain of the particular video game he's playing, right?
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's just casual conversation. They get in a stick, almost like Indiana Jones, right? They got that idea and they rolled with it. So there's that disconnect between Hollywood and the video game industry, all of video game industry, where they need to close.
Yeah, you know, the one problem I did, like The Witcher was good, the series, but I played The Witcher since 1. You know, still one of my favorite games, 1, 2. I haven't played the new one though. I don't know why, but
Neither do we.
not sure why. I just never picked it up. But you know, the one problem I had with it was not enough like the video game. They were focusing on both, obviously, but they were more leaning on the books, which are good. Don't get me wrong. If you guys ever seen the Warcraft movie in 2016,
that was brilliant.
Yeah, and that one was that was made perfectly for both.
Yeah,
you know, even if you've played World of Warcraft or you haven't, you know, it was a good movie, and it wasn't as casual as you were speaking about earlier.
With The Witcher, like, it's something that like I really adore. Like, I've got a tattoo of it on this arm, and so essentially I've read the books, played the games, and watched the series. And I feel like there is a disconnect between the people who read the books, played the games, and normal people. And it's just like people who don't know anything about it.
The rest of the Homo sapiens.
Yeah. And it's like with me, like reading the books, I actually think that they've left a lot out of the books in the series. Like, there's a lot that they've changed, which I like. I personally love the series. I think it was like the best adaptation they could do at the time. But like, they did leave a lot out of the games. So I agree with like Bearded Viking, and they should actually do it. But the big thing that they were saying was that in the first series, they did so much of the books because they didn't think they were going to get another series, that they're now having to go to the games because what else have they got?
I have one kind of to ask the pack, and to ask any of the viewers at home, if we can get on that. It's on the same topic, right? But in 2021, there's a possible chance we're about to go full circle in the idea of they are remaking Super Mario Bros. But it's coming from Eliminate Studios, the guys that make Despicable Me, and they're making it animated, trying to target the younger generation. But it's one of those things that, why are they trying to target the younger generation? Because it was our generation, or even past our generation, that had Super Marios. And I can understand why they're trying to do it, because they've done other movies before where they've brought stuff out. Toy Story 4, you know, we grew up with Toy Story. If adults are now taking their kids to see Toy Story, there's nothing worse than saying, what does that character do? What's that story? Or The Lion King. I never watched the first ever Lion King. The wife took me to see the new Lion King, and I loved it, but I had so many questions because So the question to everybody is do you think it's a good idea that they're trying to make essentially the Godfather of all gaming movies, and they're trying to remake that into a 21st century animated film?
Going back to, like, it relates back to Sonic again. Like, that was a film that it was for our generation, like, as a whole, or, you know, just like further generations. It's an old game. But the fact that they also tailored it towards kids, like, you know, that like Sonic was doing the floss, that relates to Gen Z or whatever it is now. Like, I don't know, but it's something that worked well to bring two worlds together, really. So I feel like there's a lot that can go wrong, but I feel like animation is the way to go when trying to do video game films. It just works because it's a similar Maybe it's similar. I don't know. Yeah, it's like it's on a similar basis. So I feel like there's more of an understanding. Whereas if it's all live action, it's kind of, you know, as we were saying before, some actors aren't gamers, or there's gamers that don't like Hollywood. It's this kind of, you know, you've got to meet in the middle. And I feel like video games and animation has a similar understanding. So it could work.
I'm just going to quickly chip in and say you can't really make an adult-tailored version of a video game that was tailored for kids. You know what I mean? You can't imagine Super Mario Brothers with a wrench smashing up turtles and all the blood splattered all over the place. There might be problems there.
Yeah.
Peter might attack. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. Let's pass the mic on to the other guys so hear their opinions. Go ahead. AshenLux maybe might have an opinion on it. Go ahead.
I honestly think it's just about getting the right balance, isn't it? Like Sonic, like Amy said, it's like getting that perfect balance of tailoring it to this is right for the games that we played, but also here's some memes because that's what the kids want. I guess it's just getting that good balance.
You know, it's a hit and miss for me because you know, Super Mario is still pretty prevalent today. You know, there's Super Mario Maker 2. Just came out maybe like a year ago, and you know, the people that, you know, our generation that grew up with Mario, you know, are coming back to Mario after all those like weird 3D ones that they came out with, and you know, so but there's also a lot of kids that are playing it, so like Ashen said, they're going to need some sort of balance.
And somebody just mentioned here one quick one where Angry Birds, right? I think that's the only mobile game that's been turned into a movie, and it actually worked. They made 2 of them, and it kind of worked. I enjoyed the first one. The humor was actually just on point. And having said that, they've made 2 of those, so I'm hoping they're not going to make Candy Crush into a goddamn movie like they did the Smiley movie or something like that. There are limits, Hollywood. There are limits. But we bring it over to Josh's question. Josh's question there. What did you guys think about Ready Player One?
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I never watched.
What is wrong with you, Amy? You don't watch these movies. How are you in this particular episode? Go on.
No, it was I don't know what it was. It was just watching the trailers. It looked interesting, but there was something missing for me. I think there just wasn't a lot of. Nothing really grabbed my attention, I think. Okay. So that was the only problem I had. Like visually, it looked great, but
watch it tonight and then come back.
Acquire it, as Viking says. Acquire it and watch it.
Yes.
I mean, with Ready Player One, I think my issue with Ready Player One, which would be resolved had they made the sequel, because apparently there's a second book that was written on it. Is that the gaming notations were from the 80s and not that many from the 90s. So a lot of it was relation to 80 gaming games and callbacks, and there's a word I'm missing, but you guys know what I mean, basically, right? Yeah. So the characters, even though when they went to talk about that movie, what was it, the movie that Nicolas Cage was in, and they go into that world?
Tron?
Oh.
No, not Tron.
No, you know, Dr. Sleep was the sequel for the original movie. Oh, damn. Here's Johnny, the movie where that comes from.
Oh, The Shining.
The Shining.
The Shining. Thank you, Amy. Good girl. So they had to even The Shining was an 80s movie, so they made all of that and ready. So it was awesome. The CGI was amazing. I was missing the callbacks. I was expecting like a Crash Bandicoot callback or something like that. That would have been hilarious. Or Spyro the Dragon, just to make Amy happy. But that was my only reservation with Ready Player One. When I found out that the second book was more 90s, I'm looking forward to if they ever decide to make a second movie. That would be pretty cool.
They did have some updated stuff in the movie, I noticed. Like, they had Overwatch, they had Tracer in there, and I thought that was rad.
Oh, yeah, they had Tracer in there. That's fair enough. But it was just like a glance. That was it, right?
Yeah.
So Mechazilla, my God, Mechagodzilla was there and just like central stage and everything like that. He's more of an 80s character than anything if you think about it. But that's an interesting way to go. And you know what? There's another movie I haven't mentioned, which is actually very risky. It was a racing game, Need for Speed, that they made into a movie, and Aaron Paul was in it.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised he didn't say bitch in the whole movie. Right?
Yeah.
But It was amazing. Did you? I mean, it's not like eye-boggling, fantastic, but it was much more better than what I expected to. It was cheesy. It was right, and even the girl was making fun of the cheese as well. Why don't you just say fill up the petrol tank rather than Tango Bing Bong or something like that? It was brilliant.
Ready Player One, I didn't watch either. I don't know.
A shame.
You know what? And you know, I'm not even sure why. Like I saw the trailers and I'm like, yeah, that looks really good. And then it came out and I didn't even.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
I was just going to talk about Detective Pikachu because you mentioned Final Fantasy. I was going to mention a thing about Final Fantasy, and Detective Pikachu was hilarious. He's crying and singing the song at the end. Gotta catch them all. Ryan was perfect. Ryan was a perfect cast for Pikachu.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah. Ryan Reynolds is just a good, all around.
General, since he's done Deadpool, he's found his element. He's found everything before was very hit and miss. Deadpool, he's found his element. He's done Deadpool, Deadpool 2. You don't think so?
I've been a fan of. Yeah, I've been a fan of Ryan Reynolds for a long time. Not just because he's Canadian, but just because his personality and the way he puts himself in all his roles. Right?
Ryan's awesome. I don't put that against him. It's just that his films haven't done as well as they could, like they're doing now.
Green Lantern, we won't even talk about it.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one. And
but Deadpool was a video game technically before it was a movie.
The video game was hilarious.
It was hilarious. That was in 2013, I believe.
There's loads of other ones. Spider-Man, you can't go wrong with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man,
can't go wrong.
They're doing. Also, the Alien versus Predator games and the movies. Like the movies caught you, and when they done the Alien versus Predator crossover, it was like your Freddy versus Jason crossover. It was brilliant. It was something that was needed, and then they brought out the new Predator Hunting Ground. I was
just going to ask about that. Yeah, have you played it yet?
I haven't played it yet. I was tempted to buy it last week, but lockdown. Cheers. Can't get that just yet. But I'll be watching some other guys streaming it just now, and it seems pretty straightforward. I don't think there's a lot to the game. I think it's more you can either play as a Predator or you play in a 4-man team. 4-man team's got a mission to collect stuff, get out via helicopter, get to the chopper, and then Predator, your mission's simple as kill everybody in sight. So it's a simple, straightforward game, but probably will be one of those games that you can play for hours and hours on end. But I think definitely those guys with the Lord of the Rings, hands down, that Two Towers game, you can't ever go wrong with that. And even like Shadows of Mordor and stuff like that, yeah, fair enough, there's not movies to them, but they're captivating games in itself because Lord of the Rings based. Your Spider-Man, I don't need to talk about that. Spider-Man, if that's not Game of the Year 2019, I don't know what else.
Yeah, this is a very stupid one from when I was 7 years old. There was the Bratz Rock Angels PS2 game, and it was such dumb fun, incredible.
Oh my god!
You can't go wrong.
Oh, is the mic on? I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry.
It was one of them that was just absolute stupid fun.
The horror games like Friday the 13th, like stuff like that. I love horror games. Lord of the Rings, Spider-Man, it's all kind of similar.
Awesome.
But yeah,
okay. Oh, Amy, you're not alone. Caroline says she liked the Bratz game too. Caroline Abbott, so at least you're not alone.
Yes,
the Bratz game girl. Yeah, nerdy nerd. Viking, your turn.
Ooh. My all-time favorite is probably Lion King because it was super difficult.
Yes, Sega Mega, right? And Genesis.
This Super Nintendo as well.
Oh, it was on Nintendo as well. Oh, sugar.
I think there was one on PS1 or something because I remember playing that.
Yeah,
it was. I loved that as well. So
I remember the original one. It was super difficult after you got to a certain point. Same with Aladdin.
Aladdin, yeah. You have to throw the apples, and Genie comes and saves you at the end.
Yeah.
5 people have said Simpsons video game, which is very interesting. There was someone says the Rugrats video game. I don't know why no one's mentioned the Rugrats. She's saying Tarzan is up there as well. And all right, just a shout out to you guys as well, just for mentioning those games. So that was James Wetton there, Michael King there, Andy Mantis as well. So thanks a lot, guys, for giving your opinion about those.
Big announcement, really, for the Packcast more than actually Wolves related. So I'm gonna throw a question out to the panel more than anything. Bonus points. Does anybody know when Wiki Wolves was created?
May
17th.
2019, 17th.
He's 2 days off.
That
I'll
sounds
give
like
him
a Star Trek.
will-
Stargate.
I will give him that one. It was 19th of May 2019. So next week, we're going to be celebrating Wicked Wolf's birthday. We're obviously celebrating that grand 1 year. There's a lot of teams that that form and never make the 1 year mark. That is basically the stepping stone within a gaming organisation's life. So we're going to be celebrating through Packcast. We're going to be doing a 2-hour special next week. I will be co-hosting myself. We will be getting some of the members of the old board of directors, including Zubair. We'll be talking about when we first initially started. We will also be doing a social media segment. So if you do want to ask any of the panel a question, whether it's one of the old board of directors, one of the new, all you need to do is hashtag WWGBday. That's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, or just pop it in the comments. But 2-hour special. So that's going to be amazing. It's going to be good fun. We're going to have the new board of directors coming in. So you'll meet all 5 members of the new board of directors, including our president and chief operating officer, Mr. John Sampson. He's a bit camera shy, but he will be stepping in and he will be on the podcast next week. So that is quite exciting. We will be getting some of the comp guys coming in, having a nice little 5 minutes to say about Wolves, that sort of stuff. So I want it to be more open. And also, we do have now a public Discord server. So if you are not a member of the Wolves, but you are a supporter of the Wolves, you can join our public Discord server. You can obviously drop a message in there, and you can play with games with any of the Wolves. If you're a Spyro fan, I know Ash, you were streaming Spyro the other day. You can always play with one of the Wolves. You can always get updates from ourselves. Our sponsors are on there as well. Link to the merch, which is on there as well. So it's all in all, we're doing well, and we're doing our bit, and we're getting out there. Our competitive side's looking decent, our content's looking decent, and our overall production from Amy and the guys is looking very well. So I just want to come in and give a big shout out to them.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to quickly Skype in that. I forgot to mention that when Amy came in, Amy was the woman responsible for making our initial trailer that we made that released that with the voiceover, with the intro, with the wolves and everything. And she was the one who made that. We told her what to do. She got on and did it. And my God, it was bloody amazing. So props up to Amy for doing that for us. It made us look bloody awesome. Thank you for that. She's
Keep
blushing.
Going,
So we're going to sound off this week. Next week, 5 o'clock, 2-hour special, 5 till 7. Make sure we are there. Make sure you're promoting. It's going to be a big celebration. So we will see you next week. Thank you very much.
Wolves, yeah, throw me to the wolves, wolves, yeah, throw me to